Basically, I'm just going to do a quick recap of the weekend events. It's amazing. I did 36 total videos for the month of June alone. And I guess this is basically 37. And it's actually amazing how many I was able to do. And I have iPhone, X to thank for that because it makes it so easy with, what's it called? iMovie as an app on this phone. And it makes it so that like within seconds I can start talking about something, whether I'm doing it in live video or whether I'm doing it as a 4K video that I plan on downscaling or upscaling later. And I really love iPhone X because it just makes everything so simple for me. It's like everybody else, you guys are getting GoPros and Final Cut Pro and Max and shit. It's like I ain't got time for that. So anyway, the Hellcat Redeye. I've been looking on YouTube, I've been looking at my notifications, and the one thing I've noticed is that there's a common theme for the last 48 hours. It's that all of a sudden now everybody is trying to figure out how they can possibly sell their Challenger Hellcat so that they can possibly have a chance to get the Redeye. And before I get started talking, you've probably noticed that I made a video within the last week or two, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, of the fact that my mom traded, well, I shouldn't say traded, my mom took back her Cadillac SRX, and she got this Cadillac XT5 on lease. And one of the things about Dodge products that I've realized is that Dodge products absolutely support my belief that leasing is the best way to go instead of financing. Now, I've already made videos using my iPad with the Loan You Later app, and I've shown you how to calculate student loans. I've shown you how to calculate car loans. I showed you how to calculate mortgages, because that's my business. My business is mortgages, but basically all loans work the same way. One of the things that I wanted to really quickly say about leasing is, if you're the type of person who likes buying expensive cars, if you want to buy German, if you want to buy high-tech cars, I'll say high-tech cars. The problem with technology in a car is technology changes rapidly. It's like now you're seeing cars that are coming out with USB-C chargers. You're seeing them come out with Wi-Fi chargers built in. You're seeing them come out with all types of more advanced navigation. It changes fast. So if you don't mind getting a car that gets, all of the luxury amenities, and you like those luxury amenities enough, then you're not going to be pressed to want to change up when new technology comes to market. Like, for instance, older people, they grew up without all this technology. Some of them care about having things like navigation systems. Some of them really don't care. I personally would never buy a car without a navigation system. Some people care about having the panoramic moonroof. Her car has it. All of her cars have had it that she's gotten from Paul Conti Cadillac. I personally couldn't buy a car without a panoramic roof because I just like having it. If it's an option, I want it. So here's the thing. As technology changes, as feature sets change, as new stuff comes to market that we didn't have before, some people just don't want to get caught in the old stuff. They want the new stuff. Now, yeah, you're going to pay for it, but the thing about it is, as far as I'm concerned, life is too short to have to drive boring cars. I could save about $2,000 a month if I were to trade in my stuff and get a Prius. There's no fucking way in hell that's gonna happen. I would rather put a bullet in my own head than to be forced to drive one of them shitty fucking Toyotas or one of them stupid shit fucking Honda Accords. I would rather die. And I really mean that. Some people would say, oh yeah, well, that's a terrible thing to say. No. Listen, I'd rather die than be forced to drive one of those fucking things. I mean it, because then life just wouldn't be worth living. If I can't drive around and be happy and be comfortable all the time, like when I'm in traffic, I feel like I'm king of the fucking road. It's like, imagine taking the king and saying, yeah, well, king, guess what? You're not king no more. We're going to have to make you a peasant, and we're going to take your princely robes, and we're going to take your crown and all that shit, and we're going to take away all your gold and all your stuff and jewelry, and now you're just a regular fucking Joe. Let me tell you something. That king would go about a week before he killed himself. It's not going to happen. No Priuses. I will spend the money. I don't care. It's not going to happen. So the thing about it is, I don't want to have to drive old stuff. That's the bottom line. Now, most rich people, regardless what you'll hear, because there's a lot of bullshit liars on YouTube, and if you know I'm talking to, you know exactly who I'm talking to. There's a lot of bullshit liars. And like, oh yeah, well you shouldn't lease because you don't own it, you're just renting it. Well, guess what's stupid? If you finance something, you don't own it until that balance on that bill from the bank for the car note is zero. Now, more than likely, you don't have $70,000 or $80,000 to drop on one of these Redeyes, and you damn sure don't have $140,000 to drop on a Demon. And if you don't have it in cash, then I don't know why half of y'all are talking all this shit. Because there's a lot of shit talkers on YouTube. Like, I'm looking at some of these goddamn posts from these losers. And what was it? This dude said, what was this loser? This dude, Lewis Robinson. Lewis Robinson. I had to join this shitty channel, ATL Muscle, just so I could attack this motherfucker. This asshole said, oh, well, the Redeye, still 4,500 pounds, still handles like soap, still slower than, and I mind you that this piece of shit loser, he uses the 3 slashes before M4 like he's cool or something. Still can't F with, I guess he meant fuck with, still can't fuck with a GT2. Me personally, I don't even know what a GT2 is. Now, first of all, nobody who buys a car like this is going on a goddamn road track. People buy cars like this to drive these things up and down the fucking street. I'm sick and tired of these assholes with this stupid track. Of all the cars that I've ever bought, I've never taken any of them on the track. Now, my car team move over, they actually do track rentals. I don't go to them. This whole thing about handling like soap, that just tells me that this idiot never, ever drove one. That's what it tells me. And now that I'm calling you out, I'm telling everybody, I'm on Facebook. The name of the channel was ATL Muscle, and his name is Lewis Robinson. I called this stupid asshole out, and I had to join it just so I could attack him, because normally I would have never joined it. But the thing about it is, it's like nobody's driving these things on tracks. Nobody, absolutely nobody, is doing that on a regular basis. Like, if you like track driving, that's good for you. My track is the Southern State Parkway and the I-80. When I go to Pennsylvania, you show me the track where I can do 155 miles per hour at a straight line for more than 3 or 4 miles. When I drive down to Pennsylvania, and you saw the last video I did with, I was driving back from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was doing like 130 miles per hour average on that road. And you can't do, there's no track in the world long enough for you to do that, not unless you're in Errolesheim or some shit. But anyway, I don't want to digress too much. Bottom line is, I think leasing makes more sense. My mom, originally, she had a Cadillac STS. I think I made videos in it a long time ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. The STS was a finance, and it had negative equity. All of these cars are going to have negative, all of these cars. And anybody right now who has a Challenger and tries to trade their car in, you're going to find out real quickly that you've lost probably about $20,000 from whatever you purchased that car at. Because all of these cars are these are $30,000 cars that are marked up to fucking $70,000. Driving them off the lot is going to cost you $10,000 in negative equity. And then give it a take less than 2,000 or 3,000 miles, you're going to lose another $10,000. So you're going to be down $20,000 before you even realize it. And no one could have anticipated that they were going to build a damn Redeye and that thing was going to have 797 horsepower. Nobody could have anticipated that. So they're giving you demon power, damn near, for basically less than $80,000 or about $80,000 if you buy the wide body kit. It's going to be like 82 or something like that. Because you can't anticipate their release schedule, leasing makes the most sense. Because you think about it, let's say you bought a Hellcat in 2016. If you had a 2-year lease, you'd be paying about maybe between $600 and $899 for that thing. 2 years comes, oh, okay, so you had the 2016? Well, guess what? Now there's the 2019. So now you trade your car in, you get the 2019, you ride around that Redeye. God knows what the Dodge's engineers, they're going to say, hey, you know what? What are we going to do for 2020? You know what we're going to do? We're going to take the Challenger and we're going to put 1,000 horsepower in, and then we're going to take a Sharpie and we're going to color the eye on the Hellcat. We're going to color it blue instead of red. We took a red Sharpie and we colored its eye in red, and we're going to say, okay, guess what? Now this thing's got 797. So what we're going to do is for 2020, we're going to come out with a blue-eyed Hellcat, and we're going to call it guess what we're going to call it? We're going to call it the Blue Eye, and it's going to have 1,000 horsepower. So now everybody who has their Redeye Hellcats that are financed, they're going to be trying to figure out how can they trade that shit in so that they can get the Blue Eye. See, the problem is, you know, they used to call it keeping up with the Joneses. You can't keep up with the Joneses. FCA is determined to try to figure out how the fuck can we take this $30,000 platform and we're going to put whatever we can on it. We're going to keep selling these things. And we're going to keep selling these things with ridiculous markups. I mean, I want you to just understand something, because I call a spade a spade. A Dodge Demon is nothing more than this exact same car with a fucking different hood. But now it's marked up to $140,000. Now you can say, oh yeah, well it's got the trans brake and this, that, and that. Yeah, you're right, it does. But these cars around here are selling for $40,000 above sticker. Now, from a business standpoint, it's amazing that anybody can do that. It's amazing that you can take a $30,000 car and sell it for $140,000. That's amazing. Some of these things have gone for more than that, $200,000, $300,000. Dubai, some of these things are going for over $500,000 because they're that hard to get. But the thing about it is, you have to think, now with a car like this coming to market, it's the same wide body kit. It just has a different hood. And now everybody's talking about it because now it has a cool name. It has a cool name called the Redeye. The Trackhawk doesn't have a cool name. It sits on lots. People are willing to take $100,000 to buy one of these fucking $30,000 cars. From a business standpoint, that's incredible. That's like if I took lemonade and I changed the type of sugar I put in it and then sold each glass for like $20. It's like, that's amazing. I mean, if you can keep a business model like that going, you know, that's amazing. And all they did was they took a Sharpie and they colored in its eye. And people are saying, you know what, I got to trade my shit in so I can get this Redeye. Now, of course, you're going to have some asshole or some troll, and they're going to take a Sharpie and they're going to color the eye in on their Hellcat. Or if they have a white Hellcat, they're going to like take maybe some like emerald crust or some shit and grind that shit up in there so that they can have their Redeye too. And anybody who passes by them is going to think that they have a Redeye. But I also noticed that this thing has a cool new hood. It's got a new tail spoiler too, which is kind of what the Demon should have had. See, the thing about it is all they really had to do, they changed the hood, they changed the rear spoiler, and they changed the side skirts, and that's about it. And once you take care of that, it's like all of a sudden you got a brand new product to market. And that's what's going on at Chrysler right now. These guys are sitting in those offices doing cocaine, and they're just gaming ideas, and they're like, yeah, how much power are we going to put in this fucking thing this year? And the beautiful thing about it is these things come with a warranty. So basically, there's no arguing with them. I mean, anybody can say, okay, well, should I get the Redeye or should I just buy a used Hellcat and do a pulley on it and make it faster than the Redeye? Yeah, you can do that, but guess what? When your thing breaks down or when you rip your axle in half or you bend your drivetrain or your drive shaft tears itself apart, there ain't no warranty. The reason why people are willing to spend that kind of money on a Demon, the reason why people are willing to spend that kind of money on a Redeye, the reason why people are willing to spend that kind of money on a Hellcat is because when that thing tears itself apart, when those wheels get bent, when those rotors grind themselves up, or when those calipers seize, basically they're putting shit in cars that shouldn't be in cars. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, Dodge quality shit. Well, the reason why is because they're giving you stuff that nobody's supposed to have. When you think about 797 horsepower, who the fuck else gives you that kind of power? Lamborghini's Centenario is 770. Now, you can make the argument, yeah, well, the Lamborghini Centenario weighs half what one of these cars weighs. But guess what? You're paying $1 million or more for a Centenario. No, I think it's like $3 million you're paying for a Centenario. You're paying $3 million for a Bugatti Veyron to get 1,500 horsepower. There's no other car maker that's giving you the level of power or the driving experience that a Dodge car is giving you. And because of that, people are willing to spend $140,000 ain't shit. Because when you really think about it, a Tesla Model S P100D is $150, and the driving experience is dead silent. Nobody wants that. Like the guy, if you look in my video, I made a video, and I'm sorry, what happens is when you do live video, the live video is like really fucked up because the cellular connection might not always be good. But I did this video right here that you can watch. It's 3 hours long, so you can tell that shit taxed my phone real good. But I did a 3-hour long video, and I met this Tesla Model S owner, and he wanted to get rid of his Tesla, and he only had the shit like 1 year. Most people who buy in Hellcats, unless they're trying to trade up to something else, they don't want to get rid of those cars. They love those cars. In fact, some people buy it and finance it because they plan on keeping it. But this dude had this thing, and he wants to get rid of it. He said he wanted to get rid of that thing after just 1 year. He said he wants to get rid of it. In fact, wait. In fact, here it is right here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Tesla got the Alienware. Look at that Joker.
That's the future right there.
Love that Joker.
Cars.
Look at that. Love that Joker.
All right, which model is this? I know it's the S, but kilowatt hour. 75.
Now, mind you, he debadged his 75 hour because he doesn't want anybody to know exactly which model he has. But you already know he doesn't have a Ludicrous because it doesn't have the red Brembo brakes style brakes.
All right. How are you liking it so far? Because my aunt was thinking about getting one of these. Huh?
Now, he said he's tired of it. Now, you buy a car like this, you're not paying for gas. You have to keep going back to this charging station. You got to sit there an hour to charge that shit. So you're supposed to go to like Walmart and go shopping or go take a shit or go get something to eat. But you can't do shit until that thing's finished charging. He's tired of his. And he just got this. This is a brand new model. Now, you find me the person who drives around in a fucking Hellcat or a Demon and is tired of their car after 1 year. You please show me that person.
Tired of it already? How long you had it? What's wrong with it?
Time for another car. You see, he's bored. Now, I want you to think. I keep saying leasing makes more sense than financing. Now, if this guy is bored with his car after a year, what's he supposed to do? Is he supposed to stay in this car for another 6 years on finance and he's bored with it? Of course not. So this is me personally. See, me personally, I don't bother arguing with people. When I say some shit, I'm 100% right. If you argue with me, you're wrong. And the thing about it is, rich people lease their cars. They don't finance their cars anymore. The only people who finance their cars are the people who have to buy a finance car because there's no way to lease it. So like if it's a collect, no choice but to buy it because it's a collector item. Yeah, that's when they will finance their cars. But the thing about it is you don't get stuck in a car. I don't want to get stuck in some old product. Like for instance, when I had bought a Hellcat, nobody else had one. Like there was a couple guys in California that they were just getting around. Problem is, once everybody starts getting them, I don't want it no more. And that was the thing. That's how I felt about my 300 SRT. When I bought that black 300 SRT, nobody had that car. Like I saw one in New York City that was white. I think I maybe saw over the lifespan of me having that car, I think I saw maybe two of them. That one was black, one was like blue. I don't want nothing nobody else has. I want my shit to be ridiculously stand out. And I don't want to have to do the mods. I don't want to have to wrap anything. I don't want to have to change my wheels. I want my shit to be like damn near one of one. And I know that's not going to happen because unless you have them build you a car, it's not going to be one of one. But the thing about it is they made it so that anybody could buy one of these things when they started making the deals better on them, right? So all I'm saying is, if you do plan on buying one of these things for the first time, the smartest thing to do is lease it. Fuck what anybody else says. Now, the reason why some people don't like leasing, well, number one, you already see people complaining about the Redeye. And the reason why they're complaining is because they know that, let's say they have a Demon, they know the Redeye might cause some depreciation on their Demon's demand. So if somebody was in the market to buy one of these cars, yes, a Dodge Demon is a Dodge Demon, but the thing about it is what they don't want is they don't want people who might be interested in buying their car to say, fuck it, I'm just going to buy a Redeye instead. Because then the demand causes the overall value to not be as worth as what they want it to be worth. You know, because that means that now they've got options. You know, so the whole way this market works is by you not having options. The reason why people don't like leasees is also because, well, if you're able to easily trade from one thing to the next, most of them can't possibly keep up with you. They want you to be stuck in the old thing so that this way they can either stay right there next to you or they can be ahead of you. But if you're leasing, that automatically implies that you'll be buying a brand new car in 2 or 3 years down the road. Now, when my mom got her Cadillac XT5, her lease is 4 years. So that means she doesn't have to worry about shopping for another car for 4 years. What that also means is that she didn't have to buy an extended warranty, because when you lease, the dealer itself has to take care of that car. The 2-year lease that she had on the SRX, she only leased it like that so she could annihilate the negative equity that was on the Cadillac STS that she traded in. So 4 years from now, Cadillac's going to have that automated cruise control in their cars. They're going to have new navigation systems. They're going to, who knows what's going to be 4 years from now. For all we know, cars could be fucking flying in 4 years, because you never know. We could develop anti-gravity or some shit, and all of a sudden cars fucking fly, like Back to the Future. She won't be stuck in an old XT5. When they change these cars, if there's an XT8, who knows? God, I don't even know. Maybe, fuck it. I really don't know what they will have 4 years from now. What I do know is that in 4 years, her car is just going back, and she will not have to worry about negative equity at all. All of that negative equity is just wiped clean. Now, as far as you people right now who have financed Hellcats right now, you already know what I'm saying is true, because chances are some of you have gone to the dealer recently and you've asked them, well, what's my car worth? Had you leased it, if you could lease it, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, when it goes back, it just goes back, and it's the dealer's problem to sell it. And that's the reason why my thesis has always been the smartest thing to do is to lease these cars, because when these things keep coming out, I mean, who the fuck wants to be stuck in a car that's 707 horsepower when they're making 797? I mean, or for instance, even I'll take it one better than that. Who wants to be stuck in a 707 horsepower Hellcat when you got an 840 horsepower Demon coming out? And now you've got depreciation on your Hellcat, and you can't get that Demon without paying a ridiculous overcharge. Some people, you know, do that car game and they go to these car shows looking for trophies and all that, and they're trying to be the first person on their block to have some shit like this. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. Life is too short to drive boring cars. My thing is, you have to develop your own business plan. You have to come up with a way where you can make that possible. And that's what I'm about. My thing is, what do I have to do to achieve X, Y, and Z? What do I have to do? Now, by the way, I noticed some people were very upset that the scat packs are starting to look exactly like the, what is it called? The Hellcats. I was looking at RT Life's video. Where is that? R/T RT Life. I was looking at his video, and he was like, yeah, Dodge fucked up by making the scat pack look like the Hellcat. Where is that video? Where is that? I can't, where is it? Oh, here it is. They messed up. They're making a wide, look at that shit. They're making a wide body Scat Pack 392 that looks exactly like a fucking Hellcat. And I also noticed that, what is it? They have the SRT Super Track Pack, I believe. And it's a fucking, what is it? Super Track Pack. And they have a fucking V6 in the goddamn thing. SRT Super Track Pack, yeah. They've got a fucking V6 in this thing, and it looks exactly like an SRT. So that means that if you have an SRT model, nobody's going to easily be able to tell yours apart from the V6 model. And that is not, I guess in a way, that's really not fair. Because the thing about it is, I mean, yeah, anybody can change their hood and change their wheels and everything. Wait, is there a part where he actually shows the fucking, yeah, I'm just going to click right through his shit because I'm just looking for it. But my thing is, yeah, that's not really fair, because what that means is that if you have a, what is it called? If you have a SRT model, everybody's going to be driving around in a V6 that looks exactly like yours. So that means that your little one hood scoop right here, nobody's going to care about that no more, because when they see the V6s, they're all going to look exactly like yours. And that's this is what I'm talking about. It's like, I don't want to keep any of this stuff. I just don't want to keep any of it because they keep changing it. And if they're going to keep changing it like that, which they obviously have to as a business model, I don't want to get stuck in the old thing. Look at that. Look at that. Who would know the difference? A fucking V6 under there. Who would know the difference? But in the long run, it's like I'm not knocking Dodge for doing what they're doing because, you know, ultimately they don't want to end up bankrupt. But my only thing is you know, you got to do what's good for you. You got to come up with a good business plan where you can have high enough credit to lease shit like this, you know, because the thing about it is it's like you don't want to get stuck with these things, you know? That's all I'm saying. You just don't want to get stuck with this stuff. Yep, and they just keep on changing it. And that's the thing. So basically that's all I wanted to say. Like I don't know, something else is going to come to my mind in a second. But that's what I was basically saying. And leasing, see, another reason why people don't like the idea of leasing is because the problem is it's like a lot of them don't have the credit to lease, because leasing you got to have fucking excellent credit for that shit. So you know, for some people that shit is not look at this. Like I went right here to my I went right here. I have 798 as a credit score right here. It was just updated, what is that, June 29th 2018. And the thing about it is, it's like unless you have a credit score like that, it's not going to be that simple to just walk into a bank and demand a lease. And financing typically works out better for most people, and the reason why is because you know, it requires less of a lease. It requires less of a commitment, I would say. But one thing you do know is 2 years, 3 years from now, shit's going right back. So that's all I really had to say. And you know, may the force be with you and all that.